Hey, it's your girl Soncerae here. I appreciate you listening, ladies. This live stream is for ladies. I make a lot of live streams for the fellas. But because I have 50-50 demographics, where it's 50% women on my channel and 50% men, I try to give it a balance. It's like they're on all social media platforms that I am on as of now. Both men and women watch me equally. So what I've been trying to do is make sure that I give fellas the content that they want as well as ladies the content that they want. I do it on TikTok. I do it on Instagram as well. I also do it on Facebook. It's just hard to separate the two. I just haven't been able to do separating the two since I had my son. Before that, it used to be like predominantly male. And then things have kind of shifted in social media in general. Just the internet in general is extremely different since the pandemic. So what I've noticed is a lot of men and women are both watching me. Make sure when you see this live stream to thumbs up the video. I saw something interesting today in my single moms group. If you are a single mother, you can go to Facebook. I have a group called Black Single Moms We Give You Life. I was inside of there talking, having a conversation with some of the ladies about something I seen in another group. Inside of this other group, the group is called Girls Manifest. And I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook where it's about manifesting things into your life that are positive. It's about spirituality. I'm a part of a lot of goddess groups, a lot of femininity groups. And these are things that I actually started being extremely interested in after I had my son. Now, let me explain something to you. When I was pregnant with my son, I felt a lot of masculine energy flow through me. And I felt so aggressive and so like it just a strong presence when I was pregnant with my son. And I've spoke about this a lot, even during my pregnancy. If you go back and you look at the videos that I did while I was pregnant, because I kind of vlogged every day, you could hear me talk about how much strength and power I felt inside when I was still pregnant with my son. My son is very, very, very masculine. I mean, it's just like the masculinity is just pouring out of his body. And it was like that in my pregnancy. Like my son is almost 3 now. And he's like extremely heavy. He's all muscle. He used to have like this little pot belly, but now that's gone. It's like going away with time. And he's just muscular already. He's naturally an athlete, so he's very strong, he's very fast, and it's just for me to feel this, to be able to see the difference between how I raised my daughter and how she was when she was small versus my son. It's just two completely different energies. And I spoke about this before about how I grew up and me being a tomboy, and I had a lot of masculine energy that I was tuning into because it felt a little bit more comfortable. And then it wasn't until I got a little older when I started modeling that I started to get more feminine. And I think I had to been like maybe 26, 27 when I really started getting deep into my femininity. But since I've turned 40, right, it's almost like my femininity has turned up even more than it did when I was in my late 20s. And so I've learned a lot about femininity being around other women who are actually very in tune with their spirituality. A lot of women have been asking me to do more spiritual videos on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. And I was thinking about just using Saturday as the day that I do a lot of spiritual content so that anybody who wants to watch it, they can come here and Saturday will be their day. Or maybe I could do it how I used to do it. I used to do it on Saturday mornings and Saturday and Sunday mornings. That used to be my pattern when I was pregnant with my son. I would get on and do a live stream at maybe 7 a.m., 6 a.m. here in the Bay. And then maybe be on for about 2 hours. I don't know. I just have to like organize my time. So anyway, I was inside of inside of the Facebook group Girls Manifest. I saw this post, and on the post, it was an interesting post. On the post, it said, in Hindu culture, the vagina is referred to as the gates of heaven. Why? Because the sacral chakra on the woman opens up and receives the soul of the baby and attaches to the mother's aura. The soul comes to the mother even before the fetus attaches itself to her. After an abortion or miscarriage, the soul baby, the soul of the baby stays connected to the mother's aura until she completes the proper cleansing. Now, when I saw that, I saw a lot of women come into the comment section because the girl that posted it, number one, she was an abortion and miscarriage doula, meaning she was teaching women how to cleanse their spirit after miscarriages and abortions. And so this led us to have a conversation about how many abortions and how many miscarriages most of us have had. Now, a lot of women have miscarried. After I've started seeing women commenting, a lot of women miscarried. A lot of women have had abortions. And honestly, I feel like I'm the type of person, I let me just tell you my history with abortions because I think I was talking about this a while ago, but I think a lot of people just weren't very sensitive to me as a feminine woman or just as a woman in general. A lot of people aren't sensitive to the topic of abortion and miscarriage because they themselves haven't experienced it. But I'm going to give you a quick story about my experiences with abortion and miscarriage. I did a video about this before. If you want to look through my videos, it's a video about me talking about how miscarriages and abortions had me in a place where I couldn't reproduce for a long time. Okay. Now, I always knew I wanted to be a mother. I mean, as far back as I can remember, I always knew I wanted to be a mother. And when I turned 15, I got pregnant. Right. And after I begged the universe to make me a mother is when I ended up becoming pregnant. I didn't just become pregnant just because I was just this fast ass girl that wanted to hurry up and just fuck somebody. I was asking the universe to give me a baby. At 15, I was already asking the universe for a baby. I always knew I wanted to be a mother, right? I'm just naturally a good mom. I love nurturing. I love taking care of kids. My mom, I helped her take care of kids for many years. She was running a daycare for about, I don't know, 20 something years. Okay. So I've always felt good with children. All right. So when I was 15, my mother made me get an abortion. Now, this sounds crazy because my mother is so good with everybody else's kids. You wouldn't think in a million years that after I said what I just said, that it would be my mother that would convince me to have an abortion. But she was so adamant about me having an abortion. She literally, like, my mother has never had the birds and the bees conversation. She's never had the conversation with me about wealth. She's never sat down and had a conversation with me about too much of anything, not my education, not nothing. But she showed me a lot with her behavior. Like I learned a lot about life just by my mother's behavior. But one thing my mother did sit down and talk to me about is having an abortion. And she was just like, it's so hard to be a parent. You don't want to do that too soon. You don't want to blah, blah, blah. This is what she was saying to me. And I was just like, I want to have a baby. I knew then I wanted to have a baby. And she was just like, no, it's just too hard. And I should have, back then, I should have been thinking, well, maybe she thinks it's too difficult because she had a difficult time with me. And I just had my little sister. I think my little sister may have been 2 by then. And she was just like, you don't want to have a baby. Trust me, such and such. So she made me get an abortion. And it was the worst feeling I ever had. I never forget it because number one, they didn't put me under anesthesia, right? They didn't put me to sleep or anything. It was too expensive for me to be put to sleep. So my mother made me do it awake. She couldn't afford me doing it asleep. Now my boyfriend, who was my boyfriend at the time, he was supposed to put in money to also, to take care of the abortion, but he didn't. So my mother had to end up paying for it by herself. So it was a horrible feeling. I remember it all the way through. It was very painful, very hurtful thing. Afterwards, I cried, I prayed because, like I said, I asked the universe for a baby. I asked to be a mother. You know what I mean? So, what I didn't, I think what I didn't understand that I understand now is actually what comes with being a mother financially. Okay. I didn't think about that then. I just knew I wanted to be a mom. And I think for me, it was just like because I was so young, I was 15. Because I was so young, I didn't clearly understand. So when my mother was saying it to me, I just took my mother's word for it and trusted my mom. But to this day, I regret having an abortion. Okay. So, um, I had two more abortions later in my life. And for a long time after my last one, I kept having miscarriages until my son was born 3 years ago. And when I met my son's father, we talked about having children and being married so much that I went to the universe and I asked for any soul who wanted to come to earth to use my body as a gateway. So, do you realize that the first time I got pregnant versus the last time I got pregnant, it was both me asking the universe? Now, between those times when I got an abortion, those two times, and I had miscarriages, I wasn't asking to be pregnant. It kind of like the last two I had, I was in a relationship. I've never had a miscarriage or an abortion when I wasn't in a relationship. So having an abortion or having a miscarriage isn't a promiscuous thing. I think people think that women who have abortions are promiscuous. It's not that. It's like each relationship that I got in, the first abortion, I was in a relationship. The second abortion, I was in a relationship. The third one, I was in a relationship. And I remember thinking to myself, like my last two ones, like I cannot have a baby. And I kept saying, I cannot have a baby. And I realized now that I was saying that because it was something that my mother had programmed into my mind after my first pregnancy. And so instead of me being taught how to use protection or to be celibate or to be abstinent, my mother would instead programmed into my mind that I could have sex with my boyfriend freely, and if I was to end up pregnant, to just get an abortion. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like that's the takeaway that came from me having an abortion at 15. So the takeaway should have been, you can use protection or you should be on birth control or something like that. Okay. Hey, KC bodybuilding, anti Jeffrey McCrae. Um, I think that always bother women and forever her follow her for the rest of her life. That's very true. KC, it is very true. It follows you. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. So, um, but even when I was pregnant with my son just recently, he had this big alpha masculine personality that I could feel all the way through my body. And it's the same energy that I felt from his father when I was dating his father. I always told his father that he had like this strong ass masculine energy that I could sense. And now that I had my son, I know that part of my son's soul was with his dad even before my son was conceived. I was not feeling my son's father's presence. What I was feeling was Justice's soul. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you would have to be a spiritual person to be able to understand what I'm saying. All of that time, I kept feeling a masculine energy from my son's father, but I also I felt pregnant the entire relationship. Before I even got pregnant with my son, I kept saying to my son's father, I kept saying, why do I feel pregnant? Why do I feel like pregnant? And I would say it to him. So it wasn't that I kept the feeling to myself. I would say to him, I feel like I'm pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. And I said it maybe like before my son was like conceived. I think I said it to my son's father two times before Justice actually was conceived. So I think to some degree, my spirit and my soul knew he was coming. It's like you know how sometimes you have intuition? Like women have intuition. I think I knew I was going to get pregnant by my son's father. Like I had a feeling, but I didn't know when it was going to happen. And I didn't want to make promises with him. And I didn't want him to, marry me and be with me and then be stuck with me and he couldn't be a father. So I did tell him, if we don't have children by our like second year of marriage, then we can go ahead and just divorce. I'm not going to stay with you. What if I can't have your children? I'm just not going to do that because I always felt like he deserved being a father. But now that he is a father and now that I've experienced what I have with him, I don't think he deserved fatherhood. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. You know, um, Casey, no one ever talked to me about birth control. No one in my family sat down and said, let's have a birth control conversation. No one in my family sat down and had the sex conversation with me. No one sat down with me and talked about finances and wealth. Nobody sat down with me and taught me how to cook or be a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are surprised that I have like such a distant relationship with the women in my family, and I'm very distant with the women in my family, with the exception of my daughter. The reason why is because I don't know those women. They never took the time to get to know me or accept me or teach me anything. One of the things that I learned by just watching this, just observing who these women are, I learned how to work hard, and that money was important, but I didn't understand how I could get it. Now I do realize that my cousin, like I have a cousin and we're around the same age. I used to call her my sister. She learned a lot from my aunt. My aunt taught her a lot. My aunt wasn't her mother. My aunt was her aunt too, but my aunt actually liked my cousin better than me. So she would teach my cousin stuff I didn't know. So most of the things that I learned on my own or from my daughter's father. Okay. So as a woman, right, the abortions and the miscarriages, they stay with us. And it lingers in a way that's like, I want to say you fear for your children, the ones that did live. Like I fear for my son. When my son, and I know every parent out there, when their kids are distant from them, it's like their heart just left. It's like when my son is not with me, a piece of him is somewhere else. A piece of me is somewhere else, and I'm terrified. Okay, that's what parenting feels like. It feels like you love your children so much because they're you, but they're separate from you. So it's like one of your limbs has come, just been cut off your body and is walking down the street. It's like you lost your arm and your arm is just walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? Or your heart is just jumped out of your body. You know what I mean? That's what it's so scary. It's such a, I don't know. It's just you're paranoid. You're worried. You're trying to figure out what they need to do in order to be safe when you're not around because you are there to protect them. And when they're not in your presence, you can't directly protect them from whatever else that they're experiencing with life. Okay, so it's kind of terrifying. And so, anyway, that terrifying feeling or that feeling of pain when you have an abortion or you have a miscarriage, it builds with time if you don't deal with it. Like, if you don't talk to people about it, and I didn't talk to people about it for a long time. Like, I don't think I started being like vocal about having miscarriages and abortions until I was pregnant with my son. And I spoke about it on YouTube. That's it. And a lot of people was like, well, the reason why you don't have a lot of kids is because you kept having a whole bunch of abortions. I think if I didn't have abortions, right? If I didn't have my first one, right, and then I didn't have the second two. Now I don't think I would have had two more if I'd had my first child. Like if I had my first child at 15, most likely I wouldn't have ended up pregnant again by somebody else. Because having a child is a responsibility. It would have took me down a completely different road, and I wouldn't have continued to keep having kids over and over and over and over again. The one thing about me is throughout my entire life, what I've listened to are my experiences. If I experience something that I know is going to be detrimental to me, I end up not doing it again. Or if it's something bad or it makes me feel bad, I never turn around and go back to it. Now, I think the only exception with that has been like people that I have some type of soul tied to where we built a friendship and I cared for them at some point, maybe when I was younger. Like a lot of the people that I have like a soul tie with that I met like in high school or something like that, I'm still connected to those people, even if they're toxic. So I think that's been one problem with me because, like I spoke about the guy that I was engaged to last year, I had known him since seventh grade and we dated on and off since seventh grade. And I'm usually the woman that'll tell everybody, hey, don't circle back to relationships. Like once you break up with somebody, don't turn around and go back to them because that's like putting on some dirty ass underwear that you done took off before you took a shower. And now you're putting those same dirty ass underwear back on. That's how I feel about dating an ex. But for some reason, this guy that I met in high school I mean, in middle school, 7th grade, I was still holding on to him. So that's one of the biggest problems too that I've had, and I think it's more of an abandonment type of thing that's associated with me having an abortion, or it's something connected there, and I'm not sure what it is. So when these women, when we're walking around here and we're purposely like destroying life, I think it affects us in the same way it would with a man who decides to go into the military and goes into war and starts to purposely eliminate life. Do you understand? It's another psychological thing to purposely go and destroy something, destroy life. It's not like crumbling up a piece of paper. When men ask women to have abortions, it's not as simple as, well, let me just, you know, throw this in the trash and be done with it. It's a soul. It's something attached to it. It's part of your body. So, and the pain from it, I don't know if it still feel painful because I haven't had an abortion recently, but the pain associated with abortion hurts. Oh, that shit is painful. Miscarriage hurts. I've never had a miscarriage that was pain free. I've never had an abortion that was pain free. Hell, giving birth hurts. And when I gave birth to my son, the only thing that stopped me from feeling pain, because I felt one contraction. After that, they gave me an epidural. I ain't feel nothing. I feel nothing. All I did was push. That's it. Now, when it was over, I couldn't really walk right. Like I couldn't like walk down the stairs, and my body was like different. Like, I just pushed a human being out of my body. My entire body changed so I could, take care of a human being. And now that human being that was just in there like yesterday is gone. It's not a gradual change. Pregnancy is a gradual change, but once you give birth, it's an instant change. And that does something different to your body. So it took me damn 3 years to get back to the way that I used to be, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And I'm still working on the physical part. But giving birth, it was only like a little 9-month thing. But getting back to the way it used to be is difficult. I felt like she always carried it on her back. I think she always hated her mother for that. It always came back up in our conversations. Who? You're saying who? Somebody you were dating? Because you never had love by a woman and you feel the way I did about my daddy because I never had a man in my life. I think men get over the abortion, but I feel like women, it changes their whole world. Well, the reason why men get over abortions much quicker is because it's they don't feel what we feel when we're pregnant. Like usually as women, right? We don't just feel the baby there physically. We feel another presence. And after that presence has been literally inside of your body for 9 months, there's a bond being built. Now, the only way a man could actually have this bond is if he laid with her as well. And you know how men rub the belly and talk to the baby and stuff like that? That's what builds the bond with men. But if men don't do that, like say for instance, him and the mother aren't in a relationship anymore, he's not coming to any type of doctor's appointments, he's not there. So the detachment begins. That's why it's a lot of men out here abandoning their children because they don't have an emotional connection to their child because they weren't there. Emotional attachments are built. They don't just happen. So when my son, when he came and his presence was here, like I could feel his soul, I started to get to know him inside of the womb. So once he was born, even though for a moment I felt distant between him because of the things that were going on between his father and I, with time, I got to a point where I cannot live without him. I cannot imagine living without him. Because I remember I was saying maybe I should give him up for adoption. I was saying that in my pregnancy. I was like, okay, I might want to give him up for adoption, but I didn't. The bond was built with time. And that's usually how it happens with just people in general, even with two people who happen to be in a relationship. When you build a friendship with somebody first and then you date them, when you guys break up, it's different. Like it's a different situation because you kind of know each other a little bit. So it's kind of hard to just, like be done with each other altogether. Like you might be able to gradually do it, but instantly you can't just be done with each other unless it's something that bad that made y'all just not talk to each other. I don't want to bring a human life to this cruel satanic world, so I always use protection. That's smart. I mean, just people in general. Like I say, if you don't want to have kids, or if you don't want to, you don't want to be a mother or a father, the best thing that you can do for yourself is use protection. Just for yourself, because you might end up with a baby that you don't love. That could be a reason too. Like, you're just not that type of person. Like, not everybody meant to be a parent. Not everybody meant to be a parent. And we can tell this when we see other people raising kids. And we're just looking like, I don't even know how you ended up like being somebody's mother or father. Then you got men who out there who didn't want to be fathers to begin with, so they abandoned their children. And then you got mothers who do that too. It's mothers out there that have had kids, put their kids up for adoption. You know what I'm saying? So it's not for everybody. Everybody can do it, but it doesn't mean that it's for everybody. Everybody can drive a pickup truck, but not everybody want to. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes some things women and men both don't want. So to me, it's like wearing protection or not having sex at all makes more sense than you going through the process of just feeling good for a couple of moments and then having the consequences that's going to last you a goddamn lifetime. Okay? She just tried to tell us no one never used her how to be a woman or give her life talk. I understand her complete. Who's Don Carter? Oh. Well, yeah, I'm just saying. Listen. As anybody who's listening to me, if you're over 30, right, and maybe you have kids, maybe you don't. One day you'll have them, maybe. And when you make that choice, always sit down and have the conversation about sex with your children. Always have it, okay? Because if you don't tell them, they got to go out into the world and figure it out on their own. And this is how a whole bunch of people end up getting screwed over and being fucked up and having several baby daddies and shit. Because nobody sat down and had the conversation with them. No one sat down with me and said, hey, this is what happens. This is the birds and the bees. This is how a baby is created. This is what happens when you fall in love. Don't rush yourself. Let me tell you the best advice I ever got from a man. Okay, I didn't hear this advice until I was like 22, and I wish that my uncle taught me this long before I learned it. Okay, my uncle said to me one time, he came to visit for Thanksgiving. He said to me, don't be pressed. He said, whatever you do, I don't care how much you like a man, always be fun, always be easygoing, but never be pressed. Let they ass go. Let them go. If you want to walk, let them go. And never look back. That's what my uncle told me. And ever since then, I've been the type of person where I get with somebody, they don't want to be with me. I'll be like, all right, a dude just got mad at me about that shit. A guy I really like that I've been talking to for about 8 months. I ain't never had sex with him or nothing. I liked him though. I like talking to him. We had a date recently. He said to me that he wanted to be friends. He kept mentioning friendship to me. And usually when I become friends with a guy, I just naturally become his friend. He doesn't have to mention it to me. But I figured if this guy continuously is mentioning friendship to me, maybe he just want to be in the friend zone and that's it. All right? So finally he mentioned to me one last time. I said, okay, I'm gonna start treating him like a friend instead of a guy that I'm interested in. So I started talking to him like he was just my friend. And then the other day, I said to him, can you introduce me to some of your coworkers or your like friends or something? Because I want to start dating. And I've been in California for 3 years and I haven't really seen the Bay the way that I want to. So I wanted to start dating. Can you introduce me to some guys or somebody like one of your friends, like somebody who want to kick it with me, like introduce me to somebody because I really want to date. This nigga got so mad at me. He got so fucking mad at me. And I was thinking, this is the man who just wanted to put me in the friend zone. The man that I told him I wanted to kick it with him. I just told this nigga this shit. But instead of him reciprocating the feelings that he truly had, he tried to play it cool like he wasn't into me like that. So you see how it's like a mixed signal right there? But the reason why when he told me he just wanted to be friends and I just was like, fuck it, let me not be in my feelings, is because I thought about it. Like, I'm not about to sit up here and trip off of a man not being interested in me. I'm just not. I move on. Because there's too many men in my face that want to kick it with me. So if one man doesn't want me, it's easy for me to go in another direction and find somebody that's going to give me whatever it is that I'm asking for. And so I kept explaining this to this guy when he kept saying, why can't we talk? Why can't we be friends? I don't do talking. I'm 40 years old. Either we going to be together or we not going to be together. And if we're going to be together, we're going to try to date and try to build a friendship simultaneously. We're not just going to be sitting here talking. Talking is some shit people in their early 20s do. I don't fuck with that. I'm 40. Either you down to do this and we working on something together, or we not. You're not about to sit here and waste my time and energy. I tried to explain this to this dude. And then he kept pushing being friends. So I was like, okay, fine, let's be friends. Can you hook me up? That shit made him so mad. He was so mad at me. Um, I didn't see your comments, MJ23. Only that's the first one I seen. I didn't see your stuff. Being a parent is always a learning experience. Yeah. Um, KC, you said you have to learn to be patient. Yeah, I'm patient. I have tolerance for puppies, toddlers. Not no grown ass man that's 40 like me. I've been talking to this man for 7 months. How many more months you want me to wait for him to decide whether he want to kick it with me or not? You have to think about that. Like, it ain't been like it's only been a month or two, and now I'm asking him what does he want to do. No, we've been sitting here talking for 7 months. How much more time he need? He didn't need more time. He was bullshitting. Like, he was doing some other shit with another female, maybe. Mark swears up and down he has a girlfriend. Mark, every time I tell Mark the story, Mark's like, he has a girlfriend. There's something wrong. He has a girlfriend. Because when it would be time for us to link up again, like, he would always say he wanted to link up again. But then when I would be like, okay, when you want to do it, he'd ignore it or he would never answer. And so the whole thing would just be like, we just be sitting here just talking about linking up and not actually linking up. And so Mark, when I told Mark was like, nah, he got a girlfriend. Um, if you want real love, go get it, Ma. I mean, that was what your comment was, MJ, that I overlooked. Niggas think you gonna fold and just accept sex. They be old, still playing games. I know. Right? I honestly think that I don't know. Maybe he was waiting for me to want to have sex with him because I never had sex with him. Like, I don't play that. I don't be just having sex with guys. I don't know why men think this. I guess they think this because I have an OnlyFans, or they think because of the type of modeling that I do that I just sleep around with just any guy. No, even with me being bisexual, I'm still choosy. Like, I'm still very selective about who I deal with. I don't just sleep around with a whole bunch of guys. Everybody wants to have sex with me. Could you imagine me having sex with everybody that's trying to holler at me? All these damn niggas? Fuck out of here. No, no, no. I say no more than anything. Anything. Because it's just like I want a specific time. And I've always been this way. Don't think that I'm just like that now. No, I've always been that way. I always get to know men that I'm sleeping with. And if I don't want to sleep with him anymore, or if he doesn't want to sleep with me anymore, it's usually because our relationship is over or the experiences that we had with each other is no longer fulfilling. I rarely have a one night stand. Like, I don't like one night stands because it's just not, I don't know, it's not as fulfilling as it is when I've built some type of friendship or some type of something with a guy that's keeping me there along with the sex that we're having. You know what I mean? Um, he had something going on. Right, right. KC, that's what Mark is saying. Mark is saying that this dude had a girlfriend or something. That something was going on. It had to have been. He just didn't tell me. And then when I was like, okay, all right, you know what I mean? Hook me up with somebody else then. I don't know why he ended up getting so upset. He got so mad at me and thought I was playing him. Said that I was playing him. I was like, excuse me, how am I playing you? It was just weird. I don't know. I just feel like a man and a woman is only hot for so long, and I'm not about to play no games. I'm 40. I feel like if you're going to be my wife or not. Basically, I mean, it's just like you build a friendship. Like, I tell people, go slow. Of course. I mean, you don't want to crash and burn. But at the same time, when you see somebody playing games, you just need more confirmation to make sure you're not tripping. And I tell people don't do that all the time. Like, don't give people the benefit of the doubt. Because you'll be in a situation that you don't want to be in with this person. And you be done wasted so much time. Oh, you was talking about me being patient with your kid. I'm patient with that. You was playing games. I'm trying to read your comments. You saying I'm not reading your comments. I don't see them. Like they're not, I guess they're not coming in the right order. I saw, yeah, I don't know why it's coming in weird. It's coming in weird. But yeah, these um men be playing games and I figured that shit out. But yeah, abortions, like guys, when you ask women for abortions, right? Oh, and when you're in a relationship with a woman and you ask her for an abortion, be a little bit more sensitive. That shit is not as simple as your ass putting on a condom. You can easily put on a condom and avoid getting some chick pregnant. Don't purposely get her pregnant or have a weak ass pull out game and then expect her to go get an abortion. You know what I'm saying? Tammy White. I have a lot of men that want me. That's not it. I see you trying to, be funny or hateful and shit, but that's not what. A lot of men want me. That's not the problem. It's not that. It's more of my ass is too fucking. I don't know. I just have a commitment issue. To me, I feel like I am putting that energy out there. And because I have a commitment issue myself, when I run into men and we like each other, that person has a commitment issue as well. It's just an energy that I have. I have a commitment issue. And I keep telling everybody this when I do live streams. Like I have, the commitment issue energy. So I'm pulling that same energy in. It's not that they don't want me. I'm not saying this guy didn't want me. I'm saying he could have had a girlfriend. Like Mark said, he wanted me. He just had some other shit that was making it difficult for him to have me. If he didn't want me, he wouldn't have got so pissed when I said, hey, could you introduce me to some of your homies or one of your coworkers or something so I can go date? If he didn't want me, that wouldn't have made him mad. Trust me, he'd have just introduced me to whoever and just kept it moving. So nice try, bitch. But nah, that's not it. It's always a troll, boy. Let me tell you, troll gotta come in. So but anyway, so um well guys, I don't know. I've been like kind of I don't know. I'm real selective. I'm real selective and I have a commitment issue. And when I try to commit, it's like I really gotta make myself. Honestly. Like I like a guy and I don't want to pressure him, but at the same time it's like I don't have time for bullshit. I got my son with me. I'm 40 years old. I don't have time to be bullshitting around with guys. Maybe when I was in my early 20s, I could, waste my time and bullshit around with guys, but I can't now. If you're talking about that man, he sure don't seem high value. You're talking about the guy in the video. Yeah, a lot of people said that he was, a lot of people said that he was dusty. So he had, to everybody else, he had dusty energy. Right? Because every time I see a comment, Mark even said this. Mark said everybody that posted a comment about this dude, they said he looked good, but he had dusty energy. Like he wasn't well put together or he was not like of high value. I think what you guys see is the fact that he is a blue collar worker. He wasn't like financially like, in a good place as meaning as he made more money than me. So my biggest thing with him was let's just hang out, just see what happens. Like it doesn't have to, you don't have to have a shit ton of money to date me. You just have to be creative at this point because we're cool. You know what I mean? We can go out, we can hang out. I didn't want to be too hard on him because I knew he was kind of like broke, but he was looking to work as a truck driver at Amazon. Like he just started driving trucks with Amazon. Lose him just like Priest. I didn't see blue collar. Well, he's a blue collar. Priest was blue collar too. Like for me, I don't like dating blue collar guys. But what I'm trying to do is get out of my own way sometimes because what I feel like, and this is some real shit I'm about to say. Sometimes I feel like my standards are so fucking high. And when men meet me, Mark said this shit. When men meet me and they like me, sometimes they feel like I'm too much for them that they can't afford me or they don't have enough to offer me. It's almost like let me give you an example. You ever seen a big ass water bottle? Got a big ass water bottle. You take the top off. The top is the dude that I'm dating. And me, I'm the bottle of water. And I start pouring into the cup my love and what I got to offer. And next thing you know, all of that stuff is spilling out of the top of the bottle because they don't have what it takes to, you know, deal with it anyway. But you said men have to make earn twice as much as you do. I know. That's what I'm talking about. I've been trying to like get out of like expecting so much from them because the average man doesn't have that stuff. And I'm noticing I'm saying no to a lot of guys all the time. I'm like, no, 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 all the time. And then I meet one and I'm like, yo, I like his personality. I like that he's funny. I'm physically attracted to him, but he's not making six figures. He doesn't have a college degree. You know, when I want him to match my energy, as far as my finances and my education goes, I'm realizing that the average man that's walking the street doesn't have it. So I have to put myself around more men who do what I do, but a lot of these men are already involved as well. You know what I mean? So I don't want to, be with no side chick to no dude. Also, a lot of them are working just as hard as I am too. I meet a lot of guys who be like, "Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm this, or I'm that," and they're consistently working all the time. But we don't have time to link up no goddamn way. Um, Real talk, you're a fine woman and I like your character and I feel like you're a strong-willed woman and a man has to just keep it real with you and I think you will follow his lead for the right man. I will. Thank you. I will. Thank you for even seeing that in me because a lot of men who come into my chats, I think a lot of them are on the defensive in general when it comes to me, so they're automatically thinking that I'm not receptive to men or I'm not, I don't know, open minded to them, but that's not the case at all. I'm not the type of woman that I picked a side as far as I'm going to just be on the feminine side or I'm just going to be on the masculine side. It's more of I want to teach people how to be good people because I'm a good person. And even though a whole bunch of people say I'm not a good person, these are all people that don't really know me. So I really appreciate you actually seeing me, Casey. Because a lot of people don't see me. They see a version of me that they heard from somebody else or that they created from like one video they saw where they disagreed with something that I said. If you look at me as a whole, you'll understand, yeah, I'm strong willed because I'm educated. I'm independent. I think independently. But if I meet the right man, that femininity turn up and that masculinity turn down, and I let him lead me. So for when I start meeting guys like this last guy I was talking about, to me, I felt like he could take lead of the situation if I needed him to. You know what I mean? Like if there had was a time where I needed to fall back like professionally, he would kick into gear and work harder and get it done. You see what I'm saying? That's what I thought. But when he got mad at me just recently, when we were supposed to be on that friendship, I cut it off altogether. Like I'm not his friend or anything. Because he said something to me that really like he did the deal breaker. The deal breaker was he told me that I thought too highly of myself. And I felt like for me, it's like, okay, if I was a low self-esteem low hanging fruit, insecure bitch, then it would be a problem, right? So why are you upset because I'm confident in myself and I think highly of myself? It doesn't make any sense. What kind of sorry ass man is going to sit here and tell a woman she thinks too highly of herself? You low self esteem beta. And this is what it did. This what did it for me because I was like, oh, this nigga has realized how much I'm worth. Oh, he gets it. He's starting to see what I got to offer and he can't match that. And he's starting to feel insecure with himself about that shit. It took him saying that to me for me to get it. Cause I was like, oh, because no man, let me tell you something, no man that is confident in himself is going to say to any woman, bitch, you got too much confidence, or you too arrogant, or you too conceited, or you too blah blah blah, or look at how I look at myself as a negative in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Like he's judging how I look at myself. Exactly. He couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up. School. He couldn't keep up. But he noticed it, but tried to make it seem like I was the problem. No, you're the problem. You can't keep up. It's just simple. That's it. I'm not a perfect woman, and I never come off as a perfect woman. I never do that. I got flaws just like every other woman. Yeah, I'm beautiful. Yeah, I got my money together. Yeah, I got my business together, blah, blah, blah. I still got a whole bunch of stuff that I work on every day because life is a goddamn journey. It doesn't just stop. You don't stop going for improvement. You don't stop trying to be better. Every day is something that you have to work on because days, weeks, months, things consistently change over and over and over again. And you have to adapt to the change. You have to improve after that. So I'm consistently working on who I am as a woman and trying to be better for when the right man does come along. Because ain't no man gonna want me while I'm carrying a whole bunch of baggage from some ain't shit niggas that told me I thought too highly of myself. So I have to do the exercises. And one of the things that I do really well is I accept the fact when I'm in pain. Like if I'm my feelings are hurt or I'm in pain or I'm angry about something, I accept it. I don't pretend like it's not there. I just accept it and deal with it. So in the instance with him where he kept pushing the let's be friends shit in my face, I wasn't upset that he kept saying it to me. But his actions and his words weren't running parallel because he would flirt with me as if he wanted to be with me. He would act like he would want to be with me one minute, and then the next minute he would encourage us to be just friends and shit. So to me, it felt like he just wanted to have some type of casual thing with me, and I wasn't having that shit. I was like, I'm good. Like, if you thought you was about to get some pussy, you got another thing coming. I don't give a fuck how many months we've been talking. I don't care how long it's been. No, 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 no. Not today. Like you got to earn that. That's a whole nother thing, my nigga. Like, no, like we can be friends, we can date, we can build something, we can build towards that. But nah, not just with us just talking like this. We ain't even been on a number of dates yet. We've been on one goddamn date. You ready to screw me already? That's another thing I don't understand with betas. One beta came into my live stream yesterday talking about because I'm a single mother, he'll only want to pump and dump. I was like, you idiot. He's a fucking loser. You're an idiot. Because no man who thinks a woman is invaluable, right? If you think she's invaluable, why are you fucking her? Why are you putting yourself at risk to get an STD or to accidentally get her pregnant? All because you want to come for a couple of minutes. That's stupid. You can come in your goddamn hand, my nigga. What are you doing? Uh, right. I don't want no woman who don't love herself first. Like when he said that shit to me, it was a deal breaker. It was a deal breaker. When that nigga was like, "You think too highly of yourself," I was like, "Excuse me, what am I supposed to think, nigga? I'm supposed to think I ain't shit. That's what you want me to think of myself. You want me to stoop myself lower so I can be more at reach to you. That's what this is." I was like, boy, you done met the right one. Cause my ass about to be even more cockier on your ass and be like, fuck you. Let me talk to a guy that actually got some fucking confidence because it's clearly something you got. Cause no man, like my man is supposed to match my level of confidence. He's supposed to be so goddamn confident in himself that my confidence is attractive as shit. It's like, come on. Oh my. There's this guy I used to date a long time ago. It's the cockiest, most arrogant motherfucker I've ever met. And so one day I was in this group on Facebook where this girl had created a group where women could go in there and talk about the men that they've dated and the experiences that they had with these men, and whether these women should date these men or not. And so I was in a group talking to other girls, and there's a whole bunch of Atlanta girls in there. And this one girl comes in and starts talking negatively about him. And every woman in that group started shutting her down immediately. Like, bitch, you just mad. You just mad. She was saying he was dirty. She was basically saying he was the complete opposite of what we all knew him to be. And apparently he had dated a lot of women in that group. But only me and one other girl in there had been his like close to him. I went onto that girl post. I said, listen, I'm gonna tell you what's really wrong with you. I'm gonna tell you what's really wrong with you. This is why you coming onto this post and you talking negative about him. You're mad because he faded to black. The one thing about this dude that all of us inside of this group can agree on is that he loves women. He has a commitment issue. He doesn't know how to be in a relationship with one woman. He will sleep with a number of women, but the good thing about this man is that he will tell you that. He don't play you. He lets you know what's up. He say it. And that's the one thing that I loved about this dude. He kept it a buck. When he didn't want to fuck with you, with any girl, he was like this with all of the girls, and all of the girls agreed. They was like, he sure do. He tell you if he want to sleep with you, he just bust out and said it. And that's how we had so many women. Women loved him for that. And it was funny that this one girl came in and was talking shit about him like he wasn't shit. And we was like, don't do that. Because that is not that nigga. Like that nigga say what's up. And he was always fresh to death all the time. Like he was really clean. He was really clean. He used to love like doing janitorial work, and not really janitorial work. He wanted to start a cleaning business. He owns a travel agency now, but before he used to want to start a cleaning business. So you went over to his house was always clean. He always dressed nice. He always looked like he had money. And so for this girl to come into the group and say he was broke and he had no money, bitch tried it. Bitch tried it. Every woman in that group was like, that is not him. So that lets you know, fellas, if you want to just sleep with a woman, if you want to just sleep with a woman, don't be scared, so scared that you just don't tell her, thinking that if you tell her, she just not gonna fuck with you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, like most times, if you tell a woman that all you want to do is sleep with her and let her know that that's it, you don't steal her choice from you. From her. You don't steal her choice from her. And if you sexy as hell, trust me, if you a good looking dude and she was already attracted to you anyway, and you just bust out and be like, listen, all I want to do is really have sex. I'm not interested in being in a relationship. She's not gonna look at you and be like, you fucking asshole, and then run. Not everyone, most women are not gonna do that. Especially if you find a slick ass way to say it. Like you ain't gotta be like, bitch, I'm just trying to fucking, be disrespectful as hell. But if you sleep with women casually and you still have a level of cordial respect for them, they will sleep with you. Men think about this too hard. They think too hard about this. Men who feel like women that they sleep with casually don't deserve respect are the ones who are always going to continuously have dry dick. And it's going to come back on you. That karma is going to come back on you. And the second that you fall in love with a woman, you think she all that and this and that, her ass is going to play you for everything that you got, because your dumb ass sat there and lied to a whole bunch of women, disrespected a whole bunch of women simply because you wanted to have sex with them and they let you. Men think being a player means that you got to disrespect women, slap women around, do all. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all of that. 9 times out of 10, all you got to do is tell a woman, straight up. And a lot of women just like, all right, cool, because women like sex too. Men don't want to hear that, but women love sex too. Same way you do. Same way that you want to sleep with 5 different women at one time. It's a lot of women that want to do that too. Okay. And just because a woman wants to do that, some women are sexually liberated. Just because a woman wants to do that doesn't mean that she is a bad person. She just in that stage of her life. A lot of times it's just a stage, even with men. Because at some point, some men just, after they get through that sex craze phase, they move on. They want to settle down. They want to chill. Y'all know it. Y'all do that with each other all the time. Y'all know. Y'all talk about it. So anyway, you don't have to lie to women to have sex with them. But always protect yourself, man. Always protect yourself. And most of the time, alphas have skipped over. Like alphas have usually passed their sexual craze phase. A sexual craze phase is a beta male phase or a young, immature phase. Usually when you become mature, you no longer want to do those things. Your interest in a human being, another human being, isn't just sex. Yeah, you want to do it, but you got some more important shit to do with. You got bills and shit. You got a household to run. You got kids or something. You got businesses to run. It's so much that you're doing with your life that's way more important. Sex becomes the least of your worries, man. It's trust me. Like it may seem like right now, if you in your early 20s or even if you're over 30 and you feel that right now, trust me, it'll go away. It'll go away once you see that you old as hell and you've been fucking your whole life, but ain't got no money. See, when you start realizing that you've been sitting here having sex with all these women, but you ain't got no wife, you might have some kids, but you don't have no wife, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no nothing, then you be like, oh shit, maybe I need to kick in gear. Maybe I need to stop. My twin live in ATL. You talk about the guy, we call him Total Package. That's what he called himself, Total Package. That's who he was, though. Like, he's still like that. To this day, he's still like that. Women love him, man. He just cool as shit. He cool as shit. He attractive. He work out. He has muscles and shit. That's another thing. He work out. He eat right. He dress nice. He just a good looking dude. And he wanted to have sex. And when he see a woman, he want to have sex. He say it. He don't pretend like he all in love and shit and act like he want to have a white picket fence and all that. He don't do that to women. He don't do that. Until he ready, until he find a woman that he genuinely feels that way with, he's not going to do it. And he got 2 kids. He got 2 baby mamas. No baby mama drama. He take good care of his kids, everything. He a good dude. He's a good dude. You give niggas too much game on your side. I'm just saying, it's not even really a game. It's not even really a game. It's just flat out like, yo, it's easy. Women are easier to get than men think. But you got to be confident in yourself. And you can't be mad if a chick say no. Because sometimes you go and meet a chick who gonna say no. Some dudes just get turned down sometimes. Some women say no to you because they're in a relationship, or they like somebody else, or they might be on a cycle, or they getting over somebody else, or they really just not feeling you. You know? It's never, whatever when a woman says no, it's a number of reasons why she say no. Don't take it personal, man. Brush that shit off and be like, all right. But one thing you can't do is front with a woman. If you like a woman, tell her, man. Tell her. Tell her. The thing is, you got to be able to choose between whether a woman is right and whether a woman ain't shit. That's the difficult part with men, because men will look at a woman's physical appearance and let her physical appearance determine whether or not this woman is good or not. No, it's some beautiful ass women out here who got some banging ass bodies and they shitty. Their characters fucked up. They ready to manipulate you, play you. They've been hurt by some other nigga. They trying to take that shit out on you. Women do it all the time. I'm a woman. I'm telling you what women do. Come on, man. So what's weird is this is a femininity damn live stream, and where the ladies? Isn't that weird? Where the ladies at? It's all men in my. This was about miscarriages and abortions, and for some reason it's men in my chat. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, women, you gotta start understanding women and a woman's femininity. And I promise you, man, women are, I don't know. What kind of, here's my thing. Explain to me, out of the 19 people who are in this chat, some of y'all, explain to me what a perfect woman is to you. What do you want in a woman? What does a woman have to have or look like in order for you to think that she top shelf, high value, somebody that you would sit down and marry? What does she have to do? Just look good? Write a list. I want you to tell me at least 5 things. And that's another thing that a relationship expert asked me when I told him about the story of me and the guy who just got mad. He said, I don't think you like this nigga anyway. He just looked good. You ain't really like him as a person. I said, yes, I did. He was like, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. He was like, name 10 things that you like. He was surprised when I named 10 things. He was like, oh, okay, now I trust you. I said, well, listen, for me to be able to name 10 things, even though I've only been on a date with him once, says a lot. So he was good money. The dude was in a good spot with me. He just ruined that whole shit. Ruin that whole shit. So as a man, right, what would make you settle down? Give me 3 things, 3 to 5 things that you got to see in a woman in order for you to want to settle down with her. And it doesn't have anything to do with what she looked like. That's the question. Because I think for most men, oh, she got to be fine. She got to not be wearing weave. She got to be light on the makeup. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. She got to have a fat ass. She got to have nice breasts. That shit don't matter. X all that out. If it didn't have to do nothing to do with a woman's physical appearance, what would make you settle down with that woman? Give me 3 to 5 things that you would need to see in a woman to make you want to settle down with her, and none of them can be about her physical appearance. I bet you that's difficult for men. I bet you men are struggling. Most men are struggling with that list. I have that problem at my job. Every time new women come, they always just say, Casey tried to talk to me, and I don't even know. Who's Casey? Oh, Casey. I see. What you mean? New women come, they always just say, Casey tried to talk to me, and I don't even know. You and they all said, do you know he have a woman? They like he told me. So how do you know this is the conversation that these women are having about you at your job? How do you know that? You're saying, are you saying that that's the rumor that these women are having amongst each other? Because that's what it sounded like one moment, and then the next moment it didn't. Like you lost me with that one with the women at your job. I thought you was about to name some shit that would make you stay with a woman other than her physical appearance. And most people could not name, most men can't name shit. They said, do you know I'm a Detroit police officer and a bodybuilder? Okay, so what does that have to do with the women that see you? Like the women, why do they think you're trying to get at them? What are you saying to them to make them think? Like, what are you coming off saying? I think it would be hard. I'm surprised as an officer that you can get women to date you. Because I would be, I don't know. I mean, honestly, every police officer that I met, they all had decent personalities except for the one I was dating. I dated one serious for a long time. I dated him on and off for 2 years. Oh, he drove me crazy. He drove me crazy. He would. I remember the last time I seen him. The last time I seen him, we got into an argument over weed. Because let me tell you how we got into an argument over weed. So my sister was in the car and smoked in my car. Now I don't smoke weed. I haven't smoked weed in years. Right? It's been a long ass fucking time. And it had to have been like 10 years ago, something like that. This nigga gets in my car and starts searching my vehicle. Like he on duty. I was like, nigga, if you don't get the fuck out of the car, that shit, don't you ever be a police officer when you dealing with me. If you don't get that shit out of my face. And that was the last time I seen him. That was the last time I seen him. I didn't fuck with him again after that. Like, don't be acting like no cop around me. Because I ain't about to snitch on nobody. And I'm not about to help you with your job, boo. That's your job. You better keep that shit away from me. I ain't about to be snitching on nobody for having weed. I don't know nothing about nothing. Nope. You're not about to pull me in that life. Shit. Unless I need you because it's an emergency and I need to call 911 because I'm being robbed or killed or something like that, do not start being a police officer in my presence. If I call 911, I'm going to be calling another officer, not you. Okay? You only kick into gear when something illegal is happening that ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, So I haven't talked to him since then. But yeah, as a cop, I would think it would be difficult for you to find women to date at this present time if you're black, especially. When I met this one lady who was a teacher, her husband was sheriff. I was like, girl, how did y'all survive everything within the past year that's been going on? How did you survive that? Being a police officer is not damn, I don't know. Like, is being a police officer, does it make you a lot of money? It's so much work to be a police officer. You would think they would need to be paid more. And teachers too. Teachers definitely need to pay more. Anyway, I gotta go. I've been in here. I was supposed to be talking about feminine energy, and y'all came in here talking about some other shit. Supposed to be in here talking about abortions and stuff. No women came into the live stream. Isn't that weird? A femininity live stream. No women. Bye, y'all.